Hi Nadine. I first of all want to say, maybe I'm Danish and my English is not that good, but I hope I can make myself understandable. First, you open a new picture or a new image, maybe. Let's see. Oh yes, and we say 500 and 500. And I wanted it to be transparent, so that's what I chose. Then the first we have to do is make the heart, and I try to find the color I would like, and I said that is the light, and I remove the pattern from here if I can. Yes, color, and make a darker red. So I got two different colors at my materials palette. Maybe should be a bit darker. Okay. Always when you start with a new layer. Now there's nothing on this layers, and so it would be okay. Use a darker color as a background, and then you choose your brush. And it's a bit slow here, and set it to hardness 100. The size, look at it and say, is that okay? No, I want it a little bigger. And a little bigger. And here we go. Then I duplicate the layer, and I choose an image and mirror horizontal. Whoops, like that. I use my pick tool and I move it like that. It looks like the top of the heart. Then you pick a new layer. No, it won't be necessary, because the next thing you are choosing is a preset shape, and you choose a drop. Let's see, I will show you which one it is. Maybe it was there. And I keep it as a vector, anti-alias, but retail style is not marked. The reason I keep it as a vector is because it's easier to put it together afterwards. Let's see, and I make the drop upside down, and it would take the background color, doesn't matter. And then you can see it fits nowhere at all. So if you choose this, what do you call it, the pen tool, you will see you got these nodes. If you take one of the node, drag it out there, and you take that node and drag it out here, you can see it make the shapes of a heart. I'll try to remove that one moment. Yes, it's alright. Then now we want to remove the vector part, but when you have to merge them, all three of them, you just say right click, merge, and merge. Well, merge visible. Okay, you got a heart now. And then you take your magic wand and click match mode is none. The mode is replace, continuous, doesn't matter. And then it's time to make give it a kind of shape as a big heart. Not the right word. A bit bigger. Let's see if we say I put there, and like it should be. Let's see, don't we have a no, we can. And here, say 50, and we say 50 here. That's in the middle. Okay, now you say you want your heart to be like swollen, if you would call it like that, and so the upper part has to be lighter. So you got your, I choose my background color and my foreground color, and maybe I should choose that. I had the other one. Let's see. If I can find it, foreground, background, there it is. So you see to it's the sunburst you're choosing, and to make the lighter part up on the top, you just move this a little up there, and then you say okay, and you take your flood fill and you just click inside. Then you may see it's a bit lighter in the middle. If you want it to be even more light, you can take these ones and push them a bit, and maybe move it a little further to the top. And it says it has changed. Yes, I want to change it, and then it wants you to give it a new name. And just give it a name here and say okay. Take the flood fill, and you will see in the top it's get much lighter. Okay, then we make a new layer, new raster layer. It's important, it's new one all the time, because you have the opportunity to change all your settings and whatever. So let's see, I take the brush once more, and then I choose the foreground color to be white. And then the brush, as you can see, it's very big now, so you have to change the size. It's too small. Let's see, still too small. That's more like it. Oh, I want it to be bigger. So undo, you always have that opportunity, and then you make it a little bigger. Yeah. Now you got a size that fits, and then you right click on your layer and duplicate. And you take your pick tool and you can move it over there, like that. If you don't think the size is right, you can use your pick tool to drag it and make it a little bigger. If you do that, you have to make this one a little bigger. Okay. Now, you got 3 layers because it says promoted selection. So it just drops another layer. Close your background layer by clicking on the eye, right click, merge, visible. Now it's 1 layer, and then you can open your heart again. Now it's just 2 circles or spheres, or what you want to call it. You take your selection tool, you choose ellipse, and then you drag like that. And then change foreground color to white, and then like that. And let's see, if we try to Control D, removes the, and that I made a mistake. Yes, because you have to make a new layer. That's what it always says. New layer, new layer, new layer, and then I forget. New layer, you got your selection, you take your plot fill, and there you go. Control D to deselect. You take the pick tool, and then you can try to make it fit, and you can use control shear and make it fit. You have to remove that. It seems okay. It's somewhat like right. And then you merge, and you say merge down. Then all the white is together in one layer. Use your pick tool once more. Then you apply a feather, and it should be quite large, let's say 15 or 16, something like that. You choose lips, you put your mouse at the bottom of that, and then you do a selection, the lips that covers the white, and then you can see the ellipse is covering a huge part of the white. But then you got the selection, and there you just use delete and control D to deselect. It still looks like it's not right, so you go to adjust, blur, Gaussian blur, and you choose, let's say 3. It gets a little more fluffy, so it suits it better. And then you just at the layers palette, at the opacity. This one is the opacity. I set it around 60, something like that. Okay. Then it is time for a new layer, and now there is a lot of options for you to make. First of all, I will say, should we make no, not yet. New layer, choose a darker red. Let's see. The dark red, because we are going to make a shadow. Then you got your heart. Take your magic wand, click at the heart. As I said, click at the heart, so you activate the layer down there. And then I forgot to remove the feather. Set it to 0. And then you click at your layer, and then you take Shift Control and an I, and then you invert the selection. You can use selection, modify, or invert here. It will do the same thing. Then you go to your new layer again. No, it won't be necessary. Nevertheless, Effect 3D and drop shadow. Because the selection is inverted, the shadow will lay over the heart. If it wasn't inverted, the selection, it will lay behind. But it seems like it's okay. Be sure that shadow is on a new layer. You just choose OK, and as you can see, your layer is on top of the heart. Just drag it down there, and it's just because it's just easier to see what's happening. And then you press Ctrl D just to remove the selection. Then you take your new layer you made before, and you got your dark foreground, and you use your brush, and it's a bit tricky, but make it big, like that, for instance. And it's okay, it gets up to there, and then you just click. And why? Oh yes, I tell you. Then choose your selection tool, ellipse, and you want a feather that says around 15 again. Okay. Then set your mouse at the top of the dark spot and just put it down there. Maybe you should, if you set the opacity a little less than 100, you can see through it, so you know how much will be selected. That's not enough, so I undo, maybe, or a Ctrl D, and then we'll try once more. This time it won't be that big. We do like that. Okay. And then just you are the layer with the dark spot, and then you just press delete and Ctrl D to remove the selection. Then you have to click on your heart. You have to take your magic wand, and I still forgot to remove the feather. Maybe I should try once more like this, and then click the heart. Again, Control Shift I, or select invert, and then you just activate your layer with the dark spot and press delete. So the heart is dark at the bottom, and Control D to remove the selection. Okay. Maybe if you want it to get more blurry, you can go to Adjust, Blur, and Gaussian blur, I guess it's called. And it's a little more blurry. That's okay. But as you can see, there came another shadow, so do this once more. Select the heart, invert the selection, go to the layer with the dark spot, and delete. That was just like it should be. Then you can choose if you want to drag some lines to make it look like the balloon is squeezed, what you call it, I don't know. You can use your warp tool to push. I like this. For instance, or you can unwarp, and then you can try something else instead. You can use the burn tool, the burn brush here. Then you have to select the heart, and then you have to make this one smaller. Let's see, something like that, and then you can drag. No, you can't. You have to use that one. Sorry. Let's see, opacity is too. This way. Yeah. No. That's not as good as the warp tool. So I just undo this a lot of time. That's better. Okay. Now you would say it looks just like before. It's not squeezed. Again, I don't know what you call it. But if you would like to make a box, you would hide the fact that it's not been squashed. You know what I mean. Choose a background pattern, for instance, and what would you like to make the box? Let's take that one. Okay, and then you got the rectangle tool there, and you could say show notes. It's not crucible, but leave it as a vector, because then it will make its own a new layer. Select the sub layer and then draw a rectangle. So how big do you want the box? Something like that, maybe. And we got a pattern now. You can, let's undo, you can make the pattern big, small, and let's say 32. Make a rectangle, and then you have to take or use your pick tool, and let's see, you could choose to, let's see, right click the vector and convert it to raster layer. The vector function is now gone, but that's okay. If you have your pick tool here, you choose shear, I guess it's called, and then you just drag it a little, and you take the bottom and drag it a little. You'll see it will give some kind of perspective to the part of the box. Okay, then you say duplicate, and then you choose image, mirror, horizontal. That wasn't horizontal. There. Doesn't look like much, but if you take your pencil and a bit bigger, like that, and you choose the layer then with the second, you can make it darker, so it looks like that part is turning away from the light. I think I will try to drag it down a bit further, because then you can see the dark part of the heart. Some of the dark part. You can choose to drag it down more, and then some. Whoops. And you just have to concentrate a bit. Use your arrow key to move it down. Okay, you can see it's too big, so if you take your pick tool again, you can squeeze it. Well, you can't if you don't choose scale, and then you just push it a little more, like that. Then click on the other part of the box, like that. Now the heart is coming up from a box. You can choose to make it even darker if you think it's not enough. You can use your burn tool, but then you have to activate your layer with the heart, because that's the part you are going to make darker. So make it a bit smaller. Yeah, around 50, I guess. Yeah, hardness, not too much. Opacity, yes. You can choose shadow. It's there's a difference if it's not, if it's none. Then it will just go darker. It won't catch the color behind it. Shadow will make a shadow. The midtones, it will coat the colors in the middle, and then highlights is if you want to make it brighter. But as you choose burn, there is no plan in choosing highlights, so I will use shadow, and then you just that layer is opacity and step and hardness. You can make that a bit. If you don't think it's enough, try to change it to midtones, see if that's better. Or you can try none and see what's happened there. Whoa, it gets much darker. Because then it doesn't consider what color is behind. But you can do like that, or even less, because it's not. As you can see, this takes some time, and there is no way to say you do it like that. You have to try and try again. Then you can use your warp tool again, and then see if you could drag some lines if you want, and if you don't. This is a very fast way. If you really want to make it perfect, you have to use spend more time. Then you can make. If you take your layer with you box the top layer and then merge down, it will fit together, and you can change both of them at the same time, or move them, and you can make it a little whatever you like. And then you can make a shadow to the box with 3D and drop shadow, and then you have to choose where you want your and let's say the light is coming from that direction, so the shadow is over here, and then you can say it try and try again. That's the only thing I can say. Very simple. You can say that. Normally, when I make shadows, okay, when I make a shadow, I usually use the background and my burn tool, or light and darken tool, and just draw it on the background, or darken the background. It looks more natural that way. I don't remember if I put a tutorial on my website that shows how to work with shadows. If I haven't, I will do so. I hope that this could help a little and give you an idea, but things like that takes time, so have fun. That's all I can say, and hope it was helpful.